Hello, everyone. We're back from Iowa, where the first vote of 2016 presidential race is in the history books, and what a wild night it was. Today, the candidates are fanned out across New Hampshire, the next front in the war for the White House. More on that battle in just a minute. The contest between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders was settled just today, even though Clinton declared victory last night. The AP has called it in her favor the closest race in Iowa caucus history. Last night, Iowans set a new record for turnout in the Republican race. Ted Cruz got the nod there, surprising many pollsters who had Donald Trump pegged to win.
God bless the great state of Iowa. Tonight, Iowa has proclaimed to the world, morning is coming. And tonight is a testament to the people's commitments, to their yearnings to get back to our core commitments, free market principles, constitutional liberties, and the Judeo-Christian values that built this great nation.
And Trump placed second, and Marco Rubio pulled off a strong finish in third, adding fuel to his bid for the White House. Okay, we're going to bring it around. We'll talk about the GOP first. We'll get to the Democrats in a minute. Sum it up for us, KG. What was your takeaway?
It was very exciting. Iowa's fantastic. Lots of enthusiasm. I love a big turnout. Let's talk about that for sure. And on both sides, and Hillary, wow, she like WD-40'd herself to like squeeze that little win right out, didn't ya? So she's in trouble, I think, in New Hampshire, and going forward, we'll see what happens. As for Ted Cruz, I'm in a 12-step recovery program from the longest speech ever. And, you know, as you know, we were waiting to take off till that was done. So thanks for that. Look, he pulled off a big victory, no doubt. He had a great ground game, so he delivered what he promised. Marco Rubio, I think, was the big surprise, the big win, though, of the night, really outperforming, which I thought was fantastic. He did what we had talked about earlier on the program yesterday, you know, under promise, over deliver. So that was a nice skill set that he displayed there. He's got a lot of enthusiasm and momentum going into New Hampshire. As for Donald Trump, it was a very close race. He obviously outperformed what many of the critics thought he would be able to do and accomplish in Iowa. He's still in a strong position for New Hampshire. And what I liked most was how he handled, you know, the second place finish. I thought he was gracious. His rhetoric, his language being, you know, very congratulatory to the other people running, and he set the nice tone, short and sweet.
So it was a huge turnout, Dana. Now, 186,000 or so caucus goers turned out this time. 150% higher, broke the record by 50%. Interesting, the top three finishers, Cruz, Trump, Rubio, all three would have had the highest vote totals in history.
Right.
And only a few thousand separated.
And just to add to that, Ted Cruz ended up with more votes than any GOP winner in Iowa ever. So he's...
Yeah, but so did Trump, and so did...
They did.
Rubio.
Well, that is just amazing. You know, I'm not very good at math,
huge.
but I do think, obviously, Ted Cruz deserves a lot of credit for knowing that state well. He had really good organization, and he had a few things that could have tripped him up, but they didn't. Are we going to do our... Do you want us to do our sound bites now? Or?
No, save that for...
Okay. Then I'll wait.
Okay, Greg, your thoughts on GOP?
I think Rubio gained the most. Raises the question, is America ready for a president who looks like a teenage member of Menudo?
Yes.
He's like a straight Ricky Martin. And then if you look at the other side, and you look at how close Sanders got to Hillary, I mean, who knew that there were that many socialists in Iowa? That's like finding Satanists in the Vatican or brain cells in Paris Hilton. I mean, she's the most famous woman on earth. And she's being beaten by an obscure socialist. She's as popular as shingles.
Okay, Juan, quick thought on the GOP before we get to your side?
Well, I just think that it was a big night for Marco Rubio. He's the one that beat expectations. Now, this is interesting because it's like 2/3 of the voters in Iowa went for a clearly anti-establishment Republican, Cruz and Trump. But then, all of a sudden, last minute, when it was a matter of who can win in the general election, who can beat Hillary Clinton, I think that boosted Rubio for people who were late deciders. And I think that's what was at work there. But I got to always, I mean, let's just, you know, I don't play games here. No. Cruz is the Trump buster, right? I mean, he's the guy that beat all expectations. All the polls were wrong. Juan Williams was wrong. Everybody was wrong who thought, yay, there's not a poll that doesn't show Trump winning. Guess what? Cruz by targeting, micro-targeting people, even sending out false notices saying Carson's out of the race.
That's
Whatever
terrible.
he did, it worked.
But again,
he won.
all three of those guys would have broken the record for caucus winners.
Which is
Winners,
exciting,
yeah.
shows momentum.
Can I also
GOP.
throw in very quickly? Marco Rubio feels like the big winner from the night because now you have the four quote-unquote establishment candidates: Rubio, Cruz, Christie, and Bush. Or five, fine, whatever. Now they can all coalesce behind one guy. But look how this sets up. Now you have two outsiders vying for one vote, and maybe the establishment goes behind a Rubio. The script has been flipped on the outsiders versus insiders.
Oh, no. Look, you coming out of New Hampshire, those inside candidates...
For 1 week. For 1 week.
What do you mean?
I mean, if out of Iowa. Only out of Iowa.
Oh, okay. Because I think in New Hampshire, you're going to have all the establishment candidates who did not do well in Iowa, with the exception of Rubio, even if you consider him. Remember, he was a Tea Party guy at one point. But if you consider him now acceptable to the establishment as compared to Cruz or Trump, then you have in New Hampshire Bush, Kasich, Christie, and Rubio.
Fighting
Basically,
it out,
it's a death struggle.
All right. Dana, let's talk about your takeaway from last night.
So this is when I get to play.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So we were asked to think about like what you took away from it. One, I thought that turnout was higher for both, but it actually didn't end up helping who conventional wisdom thought it would help. So higher turnout they expected would help Bernie Sanders and Trump, and that actually wasn't the case. There was the higher turnout, but I think that shows that Cruz and Rubio and then Hillary Clinton had really good organization on the ground. So there's that. What I thought was, it was interesting to me, is how do you nail your dismount, right? So you stick the landing so that you can propel and jump right then into New Hampshire because you want to have a really good speech. And I felt like the two winners, Cruz and Hillary, did not have very good speeches, but that Trump and Rubio did themselves favors. So I think we have both of those.
Iowa has sent notice that the Republican nominee and the next president of the United States will not be chosen by the media, will not be chosen by the Washington establishment, will not be chosen by the lobbyists.
We have to be united against a Republican vision and candidates who would drive us apart and divide us. That is not who we are, my friends. I followed their campaign very closely. I understand what they're appealing to, and I intend to stand against it.
Yeah.
Now, I should say, I think that Cruz had an amazing historical night, so he was, I think that the big knock against him was that his speech was really long, but whatever. I just don't think that, I think that he could have had a better head into New Hampshire. Now, if you come in second or third, I think that Trump and Rubio did a better job with their bids to go on to the next state. I think we have that, too.
I'm really honored, and I want to congratulate Ted, and I want to congratulate all of the incredible candidates, including Mike Huckabee, who's become a really good friend of mine. I want to thank all of the folks that worked with us. We had a great team. We're just so happy with the way everything worked out.
Tonight, I thank you here in Iowa. I thank you because tonight we have taken the first step, but an important step, towards winning this election. Now the moment has arrived for this generation of Americans to rise up to the calling of our heritage. Now the time has come for us to take our place and do what we must. And when I'm elected president of these great United States, we will do our part.
So I felt like Trump was very gracious there, and he didn't he didn't try to do something that would steal the spotlight away. Plus, besides, if you win the nomination, you've got to go back to Iowa, try to win it because it will be an important state. And then I think that Rubio, I talked to somebody who advises their campaign, and he said, I think that Rubio even surprised himself last night, which is why I think it sounded humble and gracious.
Yeah, I agree with both assessments. I think Trump was very good. He was humble and gracious and congratulated the winner and said, look, I'm coming back. I'm not done here.
I'm going to buy a farm.
And Marcos, he was beaming. He felt really good about it. All right, I'm going to tell you my takeaway tonight. The coin toss. Are you kidding me? The Democrats have decided who won the Iowa caucus over a coin toss. That means the leader of the free world is on the Democrat side, in their opinion, can be done by tossing a coin. Watch this.
Tails. You got the extra delegate. You get the extra one. Hillary gets the fifth one. What? That's how it works. Coin flip.
Coin flip.
Yeah. So our official delegate for this precinct is Hillary Clinton. It was very, very close, people. Remember, this is a caucus. It was very, very close. It was called by a coin toss.
So Hillary wins by 5 precincts. She had 6 coin toss, which she won all 6 of. And the odds of that are 1 in 64 because poor Bernie bought the old heads I win, tails you lose gag, I guess. But think about this for 1 second. If she's president and they say, Madam President, do we go to war? I don't know. Toss a coin. Do we raise taxes? I don't know. Heads. Should we open our borders? I'll go with heads again. Apparently she went with heads.
I think that should only be for who's kicking and who's receiving, if you got what I mean, not the commander-in-chief.
Yeah, I got where you're going with that one.
Yeah.
All right, you want to tell us about yours?
Yes, because you just can't get enough HRC, right? So here's the thing. Like, coin toss, she's like, did those weighted coins come in handy? Did you get them, distribute them? So what happened was she decides that, okay, they say she's going to win or she's the winner of it, but she actually doesn't say that she won. And in fact, Bill Clinton and Chelsea were supposed to speak. That was called off last second. She got up and just was like, whew, weight off the shoulders. Take a look.
As I stand here tonight, breathing a big sigh of relief, thank you, Iowa. I will keep doing what I have done my entire life. I will keep standing up for you. I will keep fighting for you. Join me. Let's go win the nomination. Thank you all, and God bless you.
You just can't feel so good about that. I mean, coin toss, it was so close. You know, how did Bernie Sanders pull it off? I believe it was Greg's T-shirt.
But we're going to get to Juan and Greg's in a minute, but Juan, a coin toss? I mean, is this really the best way to pick your nominee?
I think the best way is to caucus and to have whatever the rules are, the rules are. But what's interesting to me is that it was a dead heat. Again, go back to what Dana was saying, huge turnout both sides, right? And that was supposed to benefit Trump and Bernie Sanders. You get the big turnout, you got the very lefty Democratic base in the state of Iowa, and it's still a tie. I think that's a surprise. And so the thing is, going into New Hampshire, I think Bernie has a 25-point advantage right now in the polls in New Hampshire. He's from the neighboring state. He's likely to win. But what does it mean going forward? And I don't think that's very good news because he's got to now build a structure in places like South Carolina, Nevada, elsewhere. He just doesn't have that. Hillary's already there.
Quick thought before we go?
Sure. I thought I'd left the building. The fact that Sanders got this close tells you 2 things. That Hillary Clinton is a bad candidate. Hillary Clinton is a bad candidate. And it is amazing. She is so bad.
Heads or tails?
She's so bad that even being a historical first is not going to help her. The fact that she is running as a woman is not going to help her. And the fact that a socialist, the fact is you can only vote for a socialist if you've never experienced socialists or socialism. It's like liver and onions. Once you've tried it, you never have it again. That's why it's on no dinner menu. Socialism is the liver and onions of ideology. And it's amazing that actually came close to beating, again, probably one of the most famous women on the planet, but nobody can stand her. She's as popular.
And if Sanders had just done a little bit to attack her, or just question her trustworthiness and gone after her on the emails, he probably would have won.
Can I throw one more stat in there?
Go ahead.
There has never been, in the last 40 years, there's never been a president who has lost both Iowa and New Hampshire. So you have to win one of the 2 to become president of the United States, at least over the last 40 years.
Let's see what happens
10 times.
Hillary.
Any prediction on top 3 in New Hampshire? I know we're doing New Hampshire.
We're doing New Hampshire and C block.
All right, well, you want to try it? No?
No, I'll wait.
All right. Anybody?
I don't know.
Oh, my God. Wow, such huge energy. All right. Have a question about last night's vote? Tweet it to us. Our Twitter handle is @The5. Use #The5. We're going to answer some of your questions ahead.